urged China to start talks with representatives of the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama. The growing international pressure comes as a small group of foreign journalists have been allowed into Tibet for the first time since the deadly rioting earlier this month. The BBC was not invited to join the trip. Our correspondent Jonah Fisher reports on the images which have emerged.
26 journalists arrive at Lhasa airport. Having until now prevented reporters from entering Tibet, everything about this trip, from who takes part to what they'll see, is being closely controlled by the Chinese authorities. A mix of Asian and Western news organisations have been invited, and they were put on buses before being driven towards Tibet's capital. At one of several checkpoints on the way, the police had an announcement playing. Chaos is caused by the Dalai Lama clique. You must resist them, it said. The officer tells the journalists it's a routine roadblock aimed at catching people who are driving without a licence or speeding. Once in Lhasa, shops damaged during the clashes could be seen. China says they were orchestrated by supporters of the Dalai Lama. China wants to show that life in Tibet has returned to normal and took the journalists to the Potala Palace, once home to the Dalai Lama. It opened to tourists on Wednesday for the first time since the violence. But this carefully planned trip hasn't stopped calls for reporters to be given greater freedom.
Our demand is that journalists, individuals, organizations should demand to go to Tibet. The Chinese may not allow, that is a different question, but the demand should go. And then if the Chinese don't allow, then it shows that they have something very big to hide.
China and the Tibetan government in exile continue to dispute what happened earlier this month. Beijing says 19 people were killed by the rioters. The Tibetans say 140 demonstrators died as the Chinese security forces responded. According to official state media, over 600 Tibetans have since surrendered to the authorities. Jonah Fisher, BBC News.
The United States and South Korea have warned that